Maria DeLeon, a 32-year-old single mother, sat under the warm glow of her kitchen lamp, staring proudly at the Bachelor of Science in Nursing diploma hanging on her wall from Hamilton Ridge Institute. She believed it was her escape from night shifts, overdue bills, and the fear she wasn't enough. She had studied through exhaustion, missed birthdays, and promised her son that one day life would be better because mommy is getting her degree. But 2 states away, the truth was about to shatter everything. Hamilton Ridge Institute wasn't a school at all. It was the creation of one man, Adrian Cole, a bitter former admissions clerk fired for falsifying records. Determined to prove the world wrong, he built a fake online university using actors as professors, AI-generated campus images, and diplomas printed on expensive linen paper. Students paid thousands. Adrian pocketed it all, calling it selling hope. The major power shift came when Maria applied for a nursing job in Houston and was told, "We can't verify this institution's accreditation." Instead of crumbling, she fought. She contacted the Department of Education, gathered evidence, saved emails, screenshots, and even recorded a call with the fake dean. Her determination sparked a multi-state investigation, turning victims into whistleblowers and shifting all the power away from Adrian. Dramatic irony filled the case. While students struggled to survive, Adrian lived in a Scottsdale mansion hosting fake leadership webinars, believing no one would ever challenge him. But the downfall of the man who thought he was untouchable came from the woman he underestimated the most. Agents raided his home at dawn, finding forged accreditation seals, stacks of blank diplomas, and a folder labeled Future Programs. When asked why he created the scam, he said, "Because no one ever believed in me, so I built a place where they had no choice." Adrian Cole received 18 years in federal prison. Maria watched his sentencing, not for revenge, but for closure. Outside the courthouse, she said, "A degree is just paper, but truth is a foundation, and no future built on lies will stand." Justice was finally served. Victims received restitution. A new federal task force was created to protect online learners, and Maria enrolled in a real accredited college, still chasing her dream of becoming a nurse. In the end, the lesson stood clear. You can steal money, you can forge documents, but you cannot counterfeit integrity. And eventually, justice always finds its way. Months after Adrian Cole's arrest, Maria DeLeon tried rebuilding her life, juggling real college classes, work, and the emotional wreckage left behind. News stations called her the woman who brought down a fake university, but behind the headlines, she struggled with the quiet fear that the nightmare wasn't truly over. Strange emails began appearing in her inbox, anonymous messages that read, "You ruined everything," and "You don't know the whole truth." At first, she ignored them, assuming it was just someone bitter about the case. But then the messages grew more specific. Someone knew where she worked, what classes she took, even the exact time she picked up her son from school. Federal agents assured her the threats were being investigated, but they looked puzzled when she mentioned the emails referencing the archive, something she didn't understand. Late one evening, while studying, Maria received a message that froze her blood. A photo of her Hamilton Ridge diploma torn in half, and a second diploma she had never seen before with her name printed on it under a program she never enrolled in. Beneath it was a sentence. Adrian didn't act alone. She called the lead investigator immediately, but he didn't answer. Instead, she got a text from an unknown number that said, "Stop digging. People are watching." Maria realized the diploma scam was bigger than one man. Someone else had access to her records, her information, her life. And whoever they weren't finished. The last message she received that night was a voice note. Someone whispering, "He left something behind, and you're next on the list." Maria's heart pounded as she replayed it, noticing something chilling in the background of the recording. The faint sound of her own son laughing. She dropped the phone, realizing the threat was closer than she ever imagined. And then the power in her apartment suddenly went out, plunging everything into darkness. The apartment fell into darkness as Maria grabbed her son and pressed her back against the wall, her breath shallow, her pulse hammering in her ears. She whispered for him to stay quiet, while her mind raced through every warning, every strange message, every sign that someone else had been pulling strings behind Adrian Cole. She slowly made her way to the window, peeking through the blinds, expecting to see a shadow or a car watching. Instead, the entire street was dark. Every porch light, every lamp, every house swallowed in the same blackout. As she reached for her phone, she realized the screen wasn't responding. Dead battery, no power, no service. For the first time since the fake degree scandal began, she felt truly unsafe. A soft tapping echoed from the hallway outside her door, deliberate and calm, as if the person on the other side wasn't hiding at all. Maria froze. Whoever they were, they wanted her to know they were there. The tapping shifted into a slow drag down the doorframe, stopping right where the deadbolt sat. She clutched her son tighter, praying the lock would hold. Minutes felt like hours, until suddenly the tapping stopped. Silence, then footsteps walking away. When the lights flickered back on moments later, Maria checked the peephole. No one, but taped to the door was a manila envelope. Against her better judgment, she opened it. Inside were printed emails between Adrian Cole and someone labeled only as director, discussing expansion plans, payment transfers, and something called Tier 7 Access, with Maria's name highlighted under a column titled Leverage. Her stomach twisted. She was never just a student. She had been a target with a purpose she didn't understand. At the bottom of the envelope was a small storage locker key tagged with a handwritten note. "If you want the truth, go alone. Do not contact authorities." Her phone buzzed, finally reconnecting to service, and a new message appeared instantly. "He's not the one you should be afraid of." Before she could process it, her son tugged her sleeve and pointed toward the living room window. Maria turned just in time to see it. A figure standing across the street, perfectly still, holding a glowing phone up as if recording her. When she blinked, the figure vanished into the shadows, and then her phone vibrated again with one more message. "Locker 119 holds his confession, and your biggest enemy." Maria felt the floor drop beneath her. She wasn't done with the case. The case was just beginning. Maria didn't sleep that night. She sat at the edge of her couch, clutching the storage locker key, replaying every detail in her mind. The shadowed figure outside, the messages, the word director, and the horrible realization that Adrian Cole had only been the surface of something deeper. At sunrise, she dropped her son off at school, forcing a smile she didn't feel, and drove straight to the storage facility. The building sat at the edge of town, gray, silent, and unsettlingly empty. She walked down the hallway of metal doors, her footsteps echoing until she reached locker 119. Her hand trembled as she inserted the key. The lock clicked open. Inside was nothing but a single black briefcase. No dust, no clutter, almost like someone had placed it there minutes before. She lifted it out carefully, noticing a small sticker on the top with a symbol that looked like a crest, an eagle wrapped around a book. She'd never seen it before. The case snapped open with a metallic click. Inside were documents labeled Hamilton Ridge Phase 2, lists of students marked with codes, offshore bank records, burner phone numbers, and a folder titled Oversight Division. At the bottom sat a sealed envelope with her own name written across it in red ink. Her chest tightened as she tore it open. Inside was a letter, typed with no signature. Maria, if you're reading this, then Cole has failed. He was never meant to be the face of the project. You were selected for a reason. Your persistence, your credibility, your story, everything about you makes you valuable. But understanding the truth comes with cost. Stop now before the overseer intervenes. Her knees nearly buckled. Overseer, project, selected. None of it made sense. She was the whistleblower. Why would they have wanted her? Before she could think further, she heard footsteps approaching from the end of the hallway. Slow, steady, unhurried. She snapped the case shut and backed into the locker, her breath trapped in her throat. A tall man in a dark coat turned the corner. His face was shadowed, his steps too intentional to be accidental. He wasn't another customer. He wasn't security. He was coming directly toward her. Maria quietly reached for her phone, but it buzzed before she could touch it. A new message from an unknown number. Leave the case. Walk away. He's not here for you. He's here for what's in your hands. She looked up. The man was 10 feet away, staring at the briefcase. Another message came instantly. If he takes it, everything is lost. Maria felt the walls closing in, her pulse spiking. Realizing she had only seconds to choose, run with the case and risk everything, or give it up and lose the only lead to the truth. The man extended his hand slowly. "Miss DeLeon," he said calmly, "you have something that belongs to us." She didn't know how he knew her name. She didn't know how they kept finding her. All she knew was this moment would change everything. Maria tightened her grip on the briefcase, and then the lights in the hallway flickered. Once, twice, before shutting off completely, plunging them both into pitch-black darkness.